Alright, welcome. So I'm going to try to do a quick tutorial. I first start with the spoolie for my eyebrows, and I'm using the NYX black eyeliner, and I'm just going to use that to darken the brows. I wanted it to be very, very drastic, and I'm just having to go back and forth with the spoolie and make sure that's correct. I'm also using the NYX ESPRESSO eyebrow gel, and I just want to make sure the eyebrows are all filled in and are as dark as I could possibly get them without being too crazy. For the primer, I'm using the Neutrogena Men's Post Shave Balm, and that is a really, really good, inexpensive primer. It's very similar to Smashbox HD or the high definition primer, so I love that. I'm using the Graftobian color wheel. It's the Witch color wheel, and you can check my blog 7beautyinsideout.com for all the details of the list of all the products that are used here. And I'm using the Makeup Forever 12 color flash palette as well. I'm using the Green or Verde out of that palette, and it's much thicker and so much easier to use, but I'm just using that to line my eyebrows. I don't really want to use a lot of that product. Alright, so making sure I'm covering all the bases, starting around the eyes, then working to the forehead. And as you can see, I'm kind of dabbing back into the color wheel and really kind of gradually packing it on. So you can't be in a rush for this. You're really going to have to take your time, and it may take more than one layer, kind of working it out. They had a sponge, a couple of the sponges in there. It just soaked up the product and it really didn't do much. So I'm using a brush, and then I spray the Max Fix Plus to help smooth this over. And then I got to one point where I just kind of scraped the product out and just applied it to my skin, and use one of my makeup brushes just to kind of spread that out. That's the MAC Duo Fiber Brush. Alright, so really speeding that up. I didn't think you really needed to see me apply all of the makeup because it is a long process, and I wanted to kind of make the video as short and sweet as possible. Alright, moving on to the eyes, I'm using the Morphe I Got the Blues, and using a pencil brush here, just a Zoeva pencil brush. And I didn't want to do another green. I guess I could have, or you can use, whatever you like around your eyes, or you don't have to really use anything. But I wanted to be a little bit different here. So using the I Got the Blues, and I'm using that right above as a transition color right above the crease of my eye, and then I'm blending that out. So you'll find that if you are not new to makeup, you already know the rule. If in doubt, blend, blend, blend. Alright, I'm using the MAC Deep Truth, and I want to use that in the crease that is darker than the I Got the Blues, so it's really going to get it like a gradation effect. And I'm using the Laura Mercier translucent setting powder. Now it came with Graftobian setting powder, which I am using a little bit of that a little bit later in the tutorial, but the tried and true Laura Mercier is what I started with here. Alright, and I finished the first eye. I'm kind of going back here and just wanted to film the second one. I'm using the Morphe Nature's Calling, which is a green color here. So I'm using a couple of blues and then green on the lid. I wanted to go darker. And I'm using a MAC Hajar Cream. That was a limited edition. However, you don't have to use any of these. You can use whatever you like. You could do colors completely different. It's really up to you. Alright, and I'm just doing a gradient an effect as well for the eye, and using a lighter color in the creases. And here we go. We are blending to get rid of any harsh lines and make it look as smooth as possible. Alright, now in this process, I'm having to go back and cover spots. I'm just seeing a couple of spots here and there. So I'm just going back and covering that as much as possible. Alright, and I'm just trying to set as I go here. Now that I finished the eyes, I'm pretty comfortable with just setting the entire face. If you want this to last, I really recommend you follow this routine. I was able to have this last. I mean, it really did. I even tried to get my makeup to rub off on my niece, and the only thing that came off was the lipstick. The makeup, it really stayed on. So you want to make sure that you bake your face by letting this set for about 5 minutes, and then you can brush off the excess powder, and you can also use any extra, any spritz or spray to really allow the powder to set. So I'm going back with one of the green colors. This is a Morphe's, and I'm going to use this like I would normally, do my face, my makeup with contouring. So I'm just using that to kind of cave in the cheeks there and just, make it a non-basic face. I don't know, I just kind of wanted to glamorize it a little bit. So I'm using a couple different greens. I'm using this pretty much the same greens that I use on the eye. And I'm just contouring the nose just a little bit. So I was using the Hijab Green, and now I'm going back with the Nature's Calling. And just like I would use bronzer or a darker color along my, oh my goodness, can't even think of it. Oh my goodness, along the crown of my head. I'm just going back with that and just doing the same thing that I would normally do when contouring, but just with a completely different color. Alright, as you can see, there are some spots I'm having to go back and cover. And then I'm using a matte landscape green pencil. I don't know what that is, a limited edition or not. It's actually an eyeliner. However, it's going to work for lips today. And then I'm using the Makeup Monster Jealousy Liquid Lipstick. I thought about using red, but I just decided not to. I'm pulling out my Urban Decay Electric Palette. Love that palette. These are all pigments. And I'm using Freak. Fun name. And I'm going to start with the highlighting. Just using that Freak. And then I'll go back and also use Thrash as well. Alright, I'm just creating some angles by using the lighter colors to kind of draw the eye in. Alright, and there we go with that Thrash. Alright, and I'm just putting this in places that I would like to kind of draw the eye to and just give angles to a normally, I guess, flat area. So just creating a little bridge of my nose, getting the inner corners of the eye, right above the bow, Cupid's bow of the lip, and then on the eyebrow bone as well. Alright, Ben Nye Final Seal. That is something, if you do not want this to rub off, you are going to need that Ben Nye Final Seal. So as you can see, I sprayed. You don't want to saturate it because you don't want any of this to kind of get watered down and to move or shift. You just want to make sure that you spray it. You might have to spray a couple times and just let it dry in between sprays. But I'm telling you, this stuff worked. It really did last. And like I said, I rubbed my face, did all kind of things with this, and the only thing that shifted was the liquid lipstick, which I thought was going to be more lasting, but it didn't last quite as well as I thought it would. So using the Ardell Spooky Lashes Fright Night, bought these from Ulta. Really love those. I'm sorry, I was just straight struggling with the first eye, bottom and top lashes were perfect, and the second one was a straight struggle. But thank you guys for watching. Love you. See you on the next video.